Hey guys, Jexie here. Welcome back to another video. So this video is going to be a little bit different. I thought we'd do something kind of fun. So many of you, I am sure, have heard of Passages Malibu, the rehab center that is in Malibu, California. And I'll go into a little bit more about the place, but I thought it would be fun to read some reviews. So let me know what you think. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, Passages Malibu is really most well known for their commercial. The son of the guy who owns the rehab center does this commercial where he says, I was an addict for 10 years and now I'm not. And they say to come to their rehab center and they can cure addiction, right? So a lot of people who are recovering addicts like myself always laugh. If I can find, there's like a couple of memes that have seen, I'll post them here so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So it's really important for me to say that this is just for fun. And I'm picking a rehab center that is very well known, that's, memes are made about. This is not like a critique of the rehab center. I have never been there. I don't know anybody who has been there. And their overall reviews on most sites are not terrible. So I think they treat a lot of celebrities. What's important to know going forward with some of these reviews is I cherry picked them. I picked ones that I thought were fairly amusing. It is not a representation of the reviews of the place overall. I think on Yelp they had like a 3.8 review, which probably really isn't all that bad for a rehab center. So take that as it will. I don't want anybody coming at me saying they had a great experience there or I'm spreading, bad information. This is not really a representation of the rehab center. It's just because it's memed so much, I thought it could be fun to read some reviews. I'll put them up on the screen as I read them. I'm not sure if I'm going to edit out the names of the people who left the reviews. I may just, I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is, but I'll decide in editing. But there are reviews that I have found on Facebook, on Google, and on Yelp, so they're kind of from all over the place. And again, I cherry picked these because I thought they could be fun to read. And the reason, again, that I picked Passages Malibu is because it's a place that a lot of people in recovery criticize specifically for their commercial. I don't know anything about the rehab center itself. So the first review I want to read, which I thought was hysterical, it's 5 stars, all right? And his reasoning for giving the rehab center like a full 5-star rating was hysterical. So he says, I, Roy Martinez, would like very much to give one of you kitchen workers an AA+. He is very kind and goes far his job duties to assist and help all clients. Just this morning I overslept because of my meds. But Eddie made me an egg and bacon with a great smile on his face and asked me if I needed any thigh else. Eddie, top employee, and I commend his and truly believe the should be complimented in a special manner. I take my hat off to Eddie and look forward eat the lunch is preparing for us today. Again, my sincere thanks to Mr. Eddie and Master Chef, and pray he will be noticed. Airborne, all the way and then some, Roy Elias Martinez. So I love the fact that he gave a full 5-star review because of the cook. I think that's fantastic. I always love when people give like good or bad reviews for like some random reason, and I think it's just kind of sweet. So another one I read. So this one's actually a 4-star review. I'm starting with some of the higher reviews. So this one is a 4-star review, and the person who left this review is somebody who is like a local guide, which means that I think it means that they normally give reviews. Well, he's given 7 reviews. He's not just like a random person. So he's given reviews for other things as well. And he says, it's been 25 years since I drank, and I was the worst drunk. I went to AA meeting just yesterday. When I was a kid, we'd get high all day. I got a call from a friend of mine from Arkansas. She said, quit drinking. Quit drinking. I I did? I did some kind of drugs and drinking. There's a whole list of them. Methamphetamine's ruining my life. Now I'm addicted to walnuts. Passages Malibu is ruining my life. I'm right across the street. I have no idea. I have no idea what any of that meant. But these are, I have to say, like, these kind of reviews are so funny to me. This was another one that I thought was great. This is a 5-star review. Again, a good review. This treatment center treats addiction issues, but are not equipped for dual diagnosis unless you have a tiny touch of depression. If you have mental health illness, I don't recommend this place. And again, this person left a 5-star review and then ended with that they wouldn't recommend it unless you only have a tiny touch of depression. What's a tiny touch of depression, right? You either have depression or you don't, but a tiny touch, I don't know. Maybe you guys won't find these as amusing as I did. Some of them are more fun than others. But so this person gave it a 1-star review, and all they said is, there is no diversity in your commercial. Now, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure their commercial was just the one guy. And yeah, I guess he's a white guy, but he, like, is the son of the owner. Like, he co-owns the place or something. So I don't even remember them showing, like, a lot of other people in the commercial. But I think that's funny, like, to review a place based on their commercial, which actually a lot of the reviews are based on the commercial. So here's another one. This one's 5-star, and it says, I recommend trying Passages Malibu first before doing the 12-step program. And what I find so funny about this is, from what I can find, Passages Malibu has 2 locations. They have the one in Malibu, and then they have, like, a cheaper version in Ventura, California. And apparently, like, the Ventura, California one takes insurance, but the Passages Malibu one doesn't. And so a lot of people who think they're going to the Malibu location through their insurance end up going to the Ventura location, which is significantly cheaper. But my understanding is that the Malibu location can cost up to $100,000 a month. Based on reviews I read, it varied a lot between $80,000 and $100,000 perhaps for that location. So I thought this was funny that they're saying that they would recommend trying the $100,000 a month option before the free option, right? Whether you like 12-step programs or not, the one benefit is that they're free. Maybe you put $1 in a basket when it gets passed around if you want to, right? But can you imagine, like, telling somebody, like, before you try the free stuff, try the $100,000 a month stuff? Like, I don't know. It just was such a silly thing to me that I just thought it was funny. So now I am going to read you what was my absolute favorite one. This one's fairly long, but I thought that this would be, you'll understand why I chose this one to read. Again, we'll keep them up on the screen. So this one is from a couple years back, and it said, 1 star, okay, they left a 1-star review, and it says, I Googled, quote, call the Dr. Phil show, and a site for Passages Malibu came up. I'm not dealing with a substance abuse issue, but I called the number thinking I might reach Dr. Phil's show about something else. I asked the receptionist if they were affiliated with the show. She immediately responded by stating they were in no way associated, but neither informed me of who I had reached, nor asked me if there was any way she could help me. I was simply curious as to why their site and 888 number came up, so I thought I'd ask if they treated patients referred by the show, thinking that maybe that was the reason why I reached their site. The receptionist said she did not have that information. She did not ask me if I thought I was in crisis. She did not ask me if I was having an emergency. By this time I was feeling strange about her response and a little bit suspicious of the situation, as I realized this was a therapy organization that I remembered hearing about through Dr. Phil. I was now confused and also was still wondering how I might be able to reach the show. I asked her to confirm if they did or didn't work with patients referred from the Dr. Phil show, considering she insisted they were definitely not associated with it. Was it because she was only routing calls, or because she could not properly represent her company? I wish I had asked for her name, but wasn't expecting the unpleasant response I experienced next. It was concerning that she was so abrupt and uninformed, so I attempted to confirm if there was a matter of confidentiality. If that was the case, I would have had confidence that Passages Malibu might be a good resource to refer someone in need. But she became agitated, rude, abrupt, and interrupted me. I felt as if she raised her voice and started talking in circles. At that point, it seemed I needed to speak over her, and was taken aback. She asked me in a smart alecky manner why I was getting so angry. I finally thought, I'm so fortunate to not be an inpatient at Passages Malibu. I tried to explain that to me she sounded like she was getting defensive, and I felt cut off, that I was only trying to gather information. She carried on ranting louder while I was trying to speak, and hung up on me before I was able to finish my sentence. I felt like I was dealing with an out-of-control addict. Oh, I called back on my other line, and the same receptionist answered. She was not friendly. She did not sound caring or concerned. I asked to speak to an intake supervisor because if I were in need of assistance, my experience calling Passages Malibu might be the last straw to make me give up. Maybe one of the clinical staff would like to know. The receptionist fielded my request by asking several questions about my area code, where I lived, and whether or not I had ever called before. How unbelievably crude for a center that offers recovery to the most desperate people. I was transferred to Michael, who said he was the director for all of Passages centers. He listened to me and was apologetic at first, but made the most insensitive excuses that the receptionist was not an intake specialist, and admitted himself that she must be poorly trained. I lost hope with Michael as well when he ended up talking over me in a slightly defensive manner. I ended up believing there wasn't a reasonable answer for either one of them to give. If I ever know of anyone who needs to be treated for addiction, Passages Malibu is the last place I would suggest. If the staff is too busy advertising and covering themselves properly to train and hire an intake specialist to answer calls from the people they treat at a center that is specifically in the business of handling clients in pain and don't mind rationalizing their own shortcomings, then I must say it is frightening to think of what happens to a person once they had run out of funds and leaves this facility. Take the resources in, then send the patient out is an all too common theme. If you were unaware of why you were coming up on a Dr. Phil show, search when you supposedly have absolutely nothing to do with it, then something is off track here. I find you to be absolutely, basically reckless. Passages. So let me get this straight. He was really mad because he was trying to call the Dr. Phil show and instead got the phone number for Passages Malibu. And when they couldn't explain to him why he called them instead of the Dr. Phil show, he was, can you imagine? Hello, I'd like to speak to the Dr. Phil show. And the person on the other end is like, you had the wrong number. This is Passages Malibu. And the guy's like, what do you mean I have the wrong number? Your number came up on Google when I searched Dr. Phil. Why would that happen? I'm not sure, sir. Is there something we can help you with? Yeah, I want to talk to Dr. Phil. What's his number? How do I get in touch with him? I'm sorry, sir. We don't have that information. We are not associated with the Dr. Phil show. Did you have an addiction problem? No, I don't have an addiction problem. I would like to reach the Dr. Phil show, and I find it highly suspicious that your number comes up when I search the show, considering that I was trying to reach Dr. Phil, and on and on and on, right? Can you imagine dealing with somebody like that? And then he calls from another line, right? Pretends to be somebody else to start asking questions about addiction because he's trying to see how helpful they would be. And he mentions that they ask questions about his area code. Yeah, because they probably have caller ID like every other phone. And they're like, why is this guy calling now asking about addiction when he just called 5 seconds ago asking about the Dr. Phil show? So, I don't know. I found that hysterical. I thought that was like, can you imagine? Can you imagine being the person that's working? Let me see if I have any others. I'm not sure. I have a lot of them. This person left a 1-star review and said, so I paid over $100,000 for 1 month thinking I didn't need a 12-step program. Well, guess what? You need post support, and it's going to be a 12-step program. Save your money, just go to meetings. So overall, one of the things I think I've learned on this is that Passages Malibu and perhaps other rehabs that don't follow like the 12-step model, they talk about like finding the root of your problem, like the reason you used, right? But what a lot of people don't know is 12-step meetings do that too. I've heard a lot of people, Smart Recovery is another one where they say they don't like the idea of being powerless over addiction, that they believe you do have some sort of control over your life. That's a misconception of 12-step recovery. They say they're not powerless over, that they're powerless over their addiction, but we do believe that we are absolutely in control of our recovery. And look, 12-step meetings aren't for everybody, right? But the benefit is that you can get to them right now and they're free. I am somebody who went to rehab and I had a lot of success with it. So look, whatever you're going to do for recovery is going to be what works best for you. I would always caution against believing a place that's offering you a cure. Right now, science and medicine says there is no cure for addiction. So if any center is offering a cure for something that science and medical specialists say there is no cure for, you may want to be cautious about spending a lot of money. Look, when we're sick, we're desperate, and we're all willing to do whatever it takes to get better and get help or help our loved ones. There's a lot of good options out there. There's a lot of great rehabs out there. There's all sorts of places. I would encourage talking to places, talk to more than one, check out a meeting, talk to people who've been there. Even if you feel like you need to go to a rehab place, there's a lot of really good ones. Get a personal recommendation for places. Look up reviews. Again, I cherry-picked these reviews. There's plenty of people who left reviews for this place saying that it saved their lives, that it saved the lives of their loved ones, where there's also reviews that say it's crap. And the problem with rehab is you're probably going to find most fall within that same spectrum, right? Like of, this helped me, this was awful. You know, addicts are a tough bunch, and statistically it's very hard to get through active addiction. But, you know, this video was just for fun. I thought it could be a little fun to just poke fun at something that a lot of us in recovery poke fun at anyway. Again, this is not a hate video against Passages Malibu, as I know nothing of their organization. I can tell you one other quick fact. If for anybody who is sticking around this far into the video, fun fact for you. So they were in a lawsuit a couple years back. I'll put it up on the screen. I'll read you a couple of statements from the actual a report from the lawsuit. Hold on, let me pull it up. Okay, so the title says, whistleblower awarded $1.8 million in lawsuit against Passages Malibu Rehab. This was back in 2017 when this article was written. And it said that the suit stated that Bagazzo, that's the last name of the employee, I'm just reading you a clip, I'll put it up here, then 53, told her supervisor that she had leukemia when she was hired in March 2015. The same month she got the job, Bagazzo said she informed Pax Prentice, that's the guy from the commercial, that some maintenance workers, housekeepers, kitchen servers were not receiving overtime pay or meal or rest breaks as required by state and federal laws. Prentice replied, "Don't worry about it. You have bigger things to worry about," the suit alleges. Pax testified that he fired Bagazzo because she didn't perform up to par, right? But he said that she was initially positive, he gave her money. But in April 2015, a patient at the Passages facility in Ventura was found dead in his room with a bag and a trash can over his head and scratch marks on his face, the suit said. Apparently, she was one of the people. The plaintiff maintained that Mahoney spoke to detectives about the patient's death. But after Bagazzo insisted that the incident also be reported to the proper civil authorities and the facility's insurance carrier, Mahoney replied, "I don't want you reporting any of it," and walked out of the room. Bagazzo said she took a week off in early May 2015 after she contracted an infection related to leukemia. She says she returned to work 2 months later, but the same day was told she was fired. So essentially, because she wanted to report a body to the insurance company, they fired her. At least that was the lawsuit. So there was one other review that I don't know where I put it. If I find it, I'll stick it here, at least the part of it, where the guy said something like, things were great, but I couldn't get any sleep because everybody just has lots of sex. And apparently, like, that's a big review. Like, I've noticed that across a lot of reviews, that they say that clients have a lot of sex with each other, or clients and staff are having sex with each other. So who knows what's happening there. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I was trying to do something a little different. If you have any suggestions, if you like the review thing, let me know. Is there another place or type of business you want me to read reviews? Is there another type of video you want me to do? Let me know. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It helps me out so, so much. If you can leave a like on this video, that also helps. I have a Patreon. I have a Discord server. Any way you want to support the channel, I really appreciate it. My Discord, we chat about all sorts of things. We do even about our trivia game, which we do every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And my Patreon is a way for people to support the channel any way they want. As little as $5 helps a lot. So yeah, I hope you guys all have a great week. See you at Trivia Wednesday night, 9 p.m. And I love you all. Bye, guys.